The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
Still no sign of Lena Keel. San Antonio police working with the FBI to scour the area in and around the apartment complex where the 3-year-old girl was last seen.
The police are looking over hours and hours of videos that might give them clues to her whereabouts. Patty Santos live with the latest from SAPD's public safety headquarters. Patty.
It has been 2 days since the 3-year-old was last seen walking around her apartment complex. And right now, the plea from law enforcement is if you have any leads that could help them find her, please call police right now. The police chief, William McMahon, is telling us tonight that they have been searching the area on the grounds in and around the complex at Fredericksburg and Worsbach Road. Police and the FBI are currently looking at dozens of pieces of video footage in hopes of finding any clues as to where she might be. Right now, they have no information that could lead them to say that Lena was kidnapped, but that may change. Right now, it is only a missing persons case, and that is why finding any witness or evidence is key right now.
Early on, it's very important, unfortunately, I have to say that the longer the time lapses, the less hopeful we become.
Obviously, that is not the news that we want to hear, but the police chief telling us law enforcement officers are going to be back on the ground during daylight tomorrow to continue searching that area. And at this point, he tells us the search has not moved beyond San Antonio, which leads us to believe that the hope is that she is still in our community. Live in downtown, Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
All right, searching for any evidence. Thank you, Patty. Meantime, the Islamic Center of San Antonio pleading for the safe return of 3-year-old Lena. They have increased the reward to $20,000. That money has been raised by donors in the Islam community to draw attention to this missing persons case. The Islamic Center says that they are also cooperating with the FBI in case they receive any information. Now to another search tonight. U.S. Marshals offering a $5,000 reward in connection with an active Amber Alert out of Medina County. The sheriff's office there is looking for Jonathan, who is 11, Lucas, who's 9, and Ariana, who is 8. Investigators say they were last seen with their father, Jonathan Wright, in Rio Medina outside of Castroville. Wright is wanted on child sex crimes out of North Carolina. The reward for information on the whereabouts of Wright and the safe return of the kids. Investigators here believe that he has been in this area for 3 weeks after the family car broke down. Law enforcement first learned about the case after coming across Wright's wife and 2 older children. If you see Wright or any of the kids, call 911 or the Medina County Dispatch Office. That number is 830-741-6153.
New at 6, a suspected undocumented immigrant is dead. An unknown number of others believed to be on the run in Medina County after a driver fled from deputies off-road. It happened after the Medina County Sheriff says deputies tried to pull over a truck believed to be smuggling immigrants. Garrett Berger talked with him at length about the driver, the links he went to try to avoid law enforcement.
Medina County Sheriff Randy Brown said a report had come from farther south about a truck possibly smuggling undocumented immigrants. He says deputies spotted the vehicle west of Divine on FM 2200. They tried to pull it over, but instead it took off. At some point, the driver left the road, crashing through fences and fields. And somewhere along that off-road route, the sheriff says they found evidence indicating some wire had come over the truck cab and hit a man in the back, killing him. By that point, the sheriff says deputies weren't behind them anymore, and they found the truck here off County Road 6610. The sheriff says he doesn't know how many people may have bailed out, but it could be as many as 12 to 15. Medina County, DPS, and Border Patrol were all spotted out here in the area.
We'll have aircraft come back. We've flown, so we're still going to look. We've had a couple of calls. We've checked a couple of houses. Kind of normal stuff. It's sad this is just another day at the office for us because this is every day.
Brown said they were looking hard for passengers so they could try to identify the driver of the truck, whom he says killed a passenger with their reckless driving. In Medina County, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
The Guadalupe County Sheriff's Office asking for some help from the public as they try to figure out how a person's decomposed body ended up at the Guadalupe River Bridge. The sheriff's office says the person was found 2 days ago. Right now, deputies don't know who the person is, how they died, or when. However, they're hoping to learn more from autopsy results. If you have any information that could help deputies learn who this person is, call the Guadalupe County Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers at 1-877-403-8477.
City and health officials hoping some big incentives would bring people out to get their COVID-19 vaccinations today. Earlier today at Travis Park, Metro Health hosted a pop-up vaccine clinic. Anyone who got the shot got a Spurs game voucher good for 2 game tickets. HEB gift cards also given to those who got the vaccine. There are more pop-up clinics happening all throughout the city. For a full list, just go to our website, KSAT.com.
Christmas came early for 2,500 families today. The annual HEB Feast of Sharing brought thousands of people together. For many, it's not just something that is appreciated, but it's needed. Stephen Cavazos was there with more on the big turnout.
Christmas is all about the spirit of giving, and that spirit is alive and well here at the AT&T Center today for the annual Feast of Sharing. It's an HEB tradition, and a lot of the drivers that have been out here have been met with mariachi tunes, Christmas tunes, holiday greetings, but more importantly, hope. Now, the San Antonio Food Bank and HEB plan to distribute more than 9,000 holiday meals as part of this tradition. Now, registration has been full throughout the day, and this has not been open to the public. However, they anticipate more than 2,500 families will benefit from today's Feast of Sharing.
The Feast of Sharing dinner is really important for us since 1989, and we're just happy to continue this tradition in whatever way, shape, and form we can do it this year.
Keep in mind, again, this event has already concluded. However, this is something that Michael Guerra with the San Antonio Food Bank says is not just appreciated in the community, but something that is also needed.
Food banking around the state of Texas wouldn't happen without HEB. Truly a tremendous partner. They teach us logistics. They give us food. They come and volunteer. And they just make sure families are fed. They do it in their grocery stores. And when it's tough in the grocery stores, they help out on lines like this.
Now, something different about this year's event, hot meals are also being provided to many of the families that have been arriving out here to the AT&T Center. In-person HEB Feast of Sharing dinners are scheduled to resume next year during the 2022 holiday season. Now, if you did miss today's Feast of Sharing, you're not out of luck. Just head over to our website at KSAT.com. You can register for the next food distribution. We'll have all that information posted there. Again, KSAT.com. Reporting, Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
You like it? You want it? You can have it.
We'd like to introduce you to Woody Castañares. For most of the year, he's an orthopedic nurse who works with kids. During the holidays, though, he's got a different job, still working with children, but instead of helping their bodies, he's working on their spirits with some holiday cheer. Photojournalist Robert Samaron shows us how.
Are you little Santa Claus?
Do you think? The best gifts
pull on it? You can pull
are
on it.
the ones you can't buy. I mean, they're literally the ones you can't buy.
There are little Santa Claus.
I try. Any small gesture can be a gift.
Look at all your presents, guys.
On that campus, the group we were working with,
We're going to look right over there. We're going to take a picture, okay?
it was a really,
All right, here we go.
just a really momentous day. We took an empty cafeteria, school cafeteria, turned it around, and it literally looked like Santa's workshop. I mean, the place was filled. Every table was filled. The beginning was a few years ago. It was on a mother's idea, actually, at a pediatric practice.
How are you?
Things were turning, so they were turning salt and pepper, so to speak. And she goes, you know, you kind of have the personality of a certain individual.
I don't usually make the cookies. That's usually the Mrs. Claus and the elves.
In the field that I'm in, surrounded by children, you know, almost 7 days a week in pediatrics, it seemed more appropriate to.
I'll tell you what, yeah, you come over here and I'll come stand next to you guys.
Instead of taking a method of payment, rather just to have them make a donation to either a worthy cause or maybe in the form of gifts.
The red and the yellow and the green and the blue. You can have it.
You know, there's the suit and there's, you know, there's the white paint and there's the, you know, the stuff underneath. But anybody can be a Santa. It's just the smallest gesture.
Thank you, Santa.
That is pretty awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look outside with live cam. Another beautiful sunset this evening. every day this week, temperatures going up at this hour, Sarah.
Yeah, but today I think was our Goldilocks day, right? It was pretty perfect. We had a
Porridge time?
Yeah, porridge time. Ooh, all right. That's what Goldilocks says. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
All right. No, just right, Steve.
Oh, got it.
We had a low this morning of 42. Afternoon got up to 73. That is well above the average of 64. But again, a pretty nice day. Now, unfortunately, in the pollen count, it is mountain cedar season. Mountain cedar is high, past 3,000, but molds are low. So if you want to get out and about tonight, just know that we're going to be quickly cooling. Temperatures will fall into the 50s by midnight. We'll be at 55 degrees. This is actually going to be the coolest evening for us for a while, because by Christmas Day, we could be talking about the second or third warmest Christmas ever on record for San Antonio. So really impressive warm up. I'll have that forecast coming up after the break.
This SA Salutes holiday greeting is brought to you by Bob Mills Furniture.
To all the San Antonio military families, I'm Bob Mills, wishing you a Merry Christmas and thank you for your service.
Good evening, busy night, and here's what we're working on for you tonight on the Night Beat. A San Antonio nonprofit in the hot seat right now. It's supposed to be helping pregnant moms and young parents. Instead, the defenders have uncovered that the money for the organization has been spent on things like a smoke shop. The group got state and federal money, and tonight on the Night Beat, our Dylan Collier explains how the group has misused those funds. Plus, this is must-see TV that we're talking about. You're going to meet San Antonio's very own Clark Griswold, and you're going to see how he's spreading Christmas cheer throughout his West Side neighborhood. Those stories and so much more when we see you on the Night Beat.
I hope he takes Clark Griswold as a compliment, like that he went all out.
As it should.
Well, I'm just making sure. It's the way it's meant.
All right, so let's talk traffic now. TxDOT says nearly a quarter of all traffic fatalities during the holiday season caused by drunk driving.
Yeah, Samuel King joins us now. Sam, TxDOT reminding people to find a sober ride home.
Yeah, Steve and Meyer, very important. While the number of alcohol-related fatalities was down last year compared to 2019, officials worry that with more people out and about this year, that could be much different.
His blood alcohol was twice the legal limit, so he shouldn't have been driving. Never thought I'd have to write one of my kids' obituaries.
Pam Tadero's son died in a single vehicle crash after a night of drinking. That story is just one being shared as TxDOT works to reduce the amount of drunk driving fatalities over the holidays.
This is a festive time of the year, and by making a poor decision like that while driving under the influence, it's just tragic. It could be a tragic loss for, the family and friends of the person who gets behind the wheel while drinking.
TxDOT's Laura Lopez says there were 245 DUI-related crashes in the 12-county San Antonio district during the holiday season last year, with 8 deaths and 10 serious injuries. In the city of San Antonio alone, there were 172 DUI-related crashes, with 4 deaths and 6 injuries.
During this holiday season, that if you plan on drinking, have a designated driver. Plan that in advance. Have, like I said, select a person who is not the person with the least amount of alcohol in their system, the person that has no alcohol in their system.
Or else call a cab or use a rideshare app to get a ride home as well. And officials have been alarmed by the increase in overall fatalities in 2021. A state database puts the unofficial number at more than 4,000. That's already more than last year, and if it stands, it would be the most since at least 2003. So be careful on the roadways if you are traveling this evening. We're watching things on the west side, still Loop 410. If you're with us at 5 o'clock, you saw this wall-to-wall traffic there on the west side. There's volume and crashes here. This is the view from 410 at Ingram. You know, when we see those shots from Los Angeles and we say, oh, glad we don't live there. This kind of looks like that this evening on the west side of San Antonio. So looking at Loop 410, 46 minutes now. Wow, that really jumped. Sometimes this surprises me, and it does. 41 minutes now from I-10 to 151, only 7 minutes the other way. So that gives you an idea of just how bad it is. There's a crash down here at 151. You see the delays. There's obviously a lot of shopping and things like that, so people are out and about. So if you can wait this evening and don't end up there, use the frontage roads, maybe go up to 1604, use some of the other roads in the area. I know that might be a bit annoying, but you don't want to sit in traffic for a long time this evening either. Looking overall at the areas, that's really the only big problem. We do also have some issues here coming out of New Braunfels on Loop on 35 to Loop 410, an hour right now, 24 minutes the other way. Also some delays there again, as we typically see. So busy on I-35, busy on Loop 410. But if you're heading out of town this evening, things looking a lot better that way. Fairly normal times at I-10 to get you to Seguin, 30 minutes up to New Braunfels, 26 minutes heading west. So the issues are heading into town on 35 and on the west side on Loop 410. Busy evening in those areas, guys.
Gee, the traffic is terrific.
No.
Right?
No.
Oh, that gets a no?
You know what? Those boots are made for shopping.
Ooh.
Right there. North Star Mall, and there's going to
just-
be a lot of traffic out there right now.
Right. They're beautiful. I'm so glad that Sky 12 has finally got this shot.
Me too.
One of my favorite things about
I am Myra.
One of my favorite things about joining you guys on the 6 p.m. is I'm on pun watch. Okay?
Yeah, you are.
Just waiting for the Steve Spriester
Yes.
pun. And I thought that was pretty good, Myra.
You don't have to wait long, you know.
It's
a short wait.
It really is. Hey, earlier I was talking about how we could potentially have the second or third warmest Christmas in San Antonio ever. I want to show you a list of warmest Christmas ever and where we will stack up on that this Christmas. So back in 1955, we reached 90 degrees for the high temperature. We're not going to get there this year, so we have that to at least be happy about. But number 2, in 1964, 83 degrees. We're going to be close to that. That's where the forecast is right now. The forecast high is for 83. Even if we don't quite make it to 83, like let's say we make it to 81 or 82, we'll still be the third warmest Christmas on record for us at the San Antonio International Airport. By the way, records go all the way back to 1885. So yes, nothing to sneeze at as far as getting warm. And that's exactly what is forecast for the remainder of this week and into Christmas Eve, 80 degrees, close to the record of 83. And Christmas Day, Saturday, will be at 83. By the way, the average high temperature this time of year is right around 64, 63 degrees. So we'll be about 20 degrees above average. Not only is it going to be warm for the holiday, but looking into next week too, we're going to stay fairly warm. And the reason for that is there is a fairly potent ridge of high pressure over Baja California right now. And that is going to be moving east over south central Texas over the next couple of days. So yeah, I'm calling it a southern Christmas sizzle. But if you have national travel plans, know that up in parts of the Rockies and across the Pacific Northwest on Friday, Christmas Eve, there are going to be areas of snow. So there's probably, in addition to the amount of people traveling, there's probably going to be some kinds of weather delays in the airports because of that winter storm occurring in parts of the Rockies. But again, here in south central Texas, we got that southern Christmas sizzle as temperatures will be well into the 80s. Now, not only is the thermometer going to rise, but we're also going to see humidity steadily rise too. Dew points will be right around 60 degrees starting tomorrow and through the remainder of the next 7 days. So what does that mean? It's not going to be oppressively humid outside, but it is going to allow for every morning for there to be the opportunity for clouds and for fog. And that's exactly what the high-res futurecast is showing tomorrow morning. It will be cool. We'll be in the 50s tomorrow in San Antonio, 40s elsewhere. But we are going to deal with morning clouds and morning fog. Some areas visibility could be reduced to half a mile. So if you're planning on hitting the roads early tomorrow morning, know that there will be fog and you might need to take your time. Then skies are going to clear, but skies are going to pretty much wait to clear until the afternoon. So it's going to be fairly cloudy until noon, and then in the afternoon, almost completely sunny everywhere. So we'll be starting off, as I mentioned, in the low to mid 50s around San Antonio. 40s elsewhere, 46 in Kerrville, 46 in Uvalde. That's definitely sweater weather, but as soon as we see that sun in the afternoon, temperatures are going to spike up. Some areas will be in the 80s, like near Cotulla, low 70s elsewhere in the hill country. And here in San Antonio, this is our forecast for your Thursday. Clouds and fog in the morning, 55 degrees. It will be breezy into the afternoon with winds from the south at about 15. And then skies will clear, 68 at noon and 75 and sunny in the afternoon. And as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be very warm Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. 80 Christmas Eve, 83 Christmas Day, and into next week. Also, no chance for rain in the forecast either. So I'm glad we got a little rain over this past weekend. But yeah, La Nina pattern will pull it in strong, warm and dry this winter. So
what was it? Southern Christmas sizzle?
Sizzle, yeah.
Southern Christmas sizzle. The old SC.
S.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it sound better. It's going to be 83 degrees.
You're not happy.
No.
Clearly.
No.
You
Thanks,
are.
Sarah.
You're trying to look on the bright side.
I am.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate that about you. All right, so he came back, and he has been a welcome addition once he's been healthy for the Dallas Cowboys, Greg.
You're talking about Tank Lawrence, who is playing like a tank, and that forced fumble with Saquon Barkley was incredible because he does not fumble the ball. When we come back, he's playing like a tank, but how does that rub off on the rest of the defensive players? He will let us know. And UIW Cardinals have a new head coach introduced today. Coming up.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
The Dallas Cowboys face their arch rivals, the Washington football team, for the second time in 3 weeks on Sunday Night Football. That's after they were able to hold off the injury-riddled team 2 weeks ago, 27-20, in a game that saw the Dallas D come up with 4 takeaways in that game. The Dallas defense did the same thing in the 21-6 victory over the Giants in New York, only this time it was 3 interceptions and 1 fumble. Now with a chance to clinch the NFC East, how much has the return of Tank Lawrence helped make this defense even better with just 3 games left in the regular season?
This is, like you said, he's got a good mindset, and even though he was out, he wasn't far away from the guys and talking and the attitude and the style. So an identity, it doesn't happen overnight, in terms of how a team wants to play. But I would say that D-Law helps that identity a lot because of the violent nature that he plays with, the speed that he plays with. So certainly been good to have him back, that's for sure.
There are questions already being raised as to whether David Culley should return as a head coach next season for the Houston Texans. But for now, it's about getting through the rest of the season, starting with the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday. The biggest challenge for Houston will be on defense, especially since their defensive line is where it appears Houston has been hit the hardest with players in health and safety protocols.
Some of those guys that have been playing, we've been playing 8 guys there for the most part all year, and they've been kind of splitting time. We're adding some guys to that list that have been on our practice squad that have been with us, adding those guys up. But some of those guys that have been playing maybe 20 plays will be end up playing 30 plays now, Brandon. Instead of having split the time, they're probably going to play even more just because of the experience.
All right, the Texans will be 10.5-point underdogs against the Chargers on Sunday in their noon kickoff. Congratulations to the UTSA Roadrunners and a great record-breaking season that finished 12-2 following their 38-24 loss to San Diego State in the Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl. As we told you before kickoff, the Roadrunners were down 4 starters who were preparing to enter pro football, including the Conference USA's Offensive Player of the Year, Sincere McCormick, who announced he's making himself available for the NFL Draft. But the Roadrunners also had a number of players out due to COVID protocols. Still second-year head coach Jeff Traylor, who led his team to their first-ever 12-win season, did not use that as an excuse for the loss.
It is what it is. Our guys that were out on the field are the ones that need to be talked about. They were fantastic. They gave me everything they had. It was unfortunate, but we had enough tonight, and we just didn't get it done, and that's on me.
All right, like the Roadrunners, the University of the Incarnate Word Cardinals look to build on their most successful season in program history, a 10-3 finish that included their first ever outright Southland Conference title and their first ever playoff victory. But they will have to do so with a new head coach after Eric Morris took the job as offensive coordinator at Washington State. Now the future belongs to G.J. Kinney, as the former co-offensive coordinator at UCF was introduced today as a new head coach for the Cardinals.
Coach Morris did a great job laying that foundation, and all I'm trying to do is come in here and build upon that. There's been a lot of successful teams played here the last couple of years, and like I said, just trying to build upon that success and hire the right type of people to come in here and to do that. And that's, the next couple of days next couple of weeks, so that's what it'll be my focus, is hiring the right staff.
And Coach Kinney has been involved in San Antonio before because he used to be a quarterback for the San Antonio talons.
Really?
Remember that?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I apologize to him for that.
Yeah. Yeah, well.
Didn't quite work out.
Thanks, Greg.
You got it.
Our KSAT Q&A up next.
He is a professor of history at Trinity University, and he is a frequent guest here on KSAT Q&A. He's also an author, an ordained minister, and he, jack of all trades.
We got a few things to talk about.
Yeah, a Carrie of all trades. Dr. Carrie Lattimore joins us now. His latest book is called Unshakable Faith, African-American Stories of Redemption, Hope, and Community. Carrie, always appreciate you joining us on this segment. Talk about this book and why you decided to write it, and what does unshakable faith mean?
This book really is kind of picking off of my two vocations, one as, a professor and the other as a minister of the gospel. And so putting those two together means a lot to me. But I also wanted to write something that was hopeful, something that gave people an idea of the benefits of faith, the strong parts of faith, and what faith can really do in people's lives. And so the people who are profiled here, in a sense, demonstrated what I call an unshakable faith. Now, that doesn't mean that they didn't question the faith, they didn't have difficulties, they didn't struggle, they didn't wrestle with it, but ultimately they relied on a faith that was unshakable, a faith that was a rock. And so from people from Booker T. Washington to Cyrus Bustle to Phyllis Wheatley, on up to Fannie Lou Hamer, we see in the stories here how faith helped to sustain. And so faith can help people sustain things such as depression. I know that personally. Faith can help people to sustain difficult times in life, physical ailments. And so I hope that the book shows the positive aspects of faith in a time period of where sometimes all we hear is the negative aspects of faith. And I have to admit, sometimes people of faith haven't always been their best proponents in the ways that they act, in the ways that they behave. But I think in this book, one of the things that I try to show is how people of faith can really do good things and to do the will of God.
Where did this idea come from for you, and how did you choose the people that you decided to profile in this book?
The idea really came from something that I've always been wanting to do. I've always wanted to do something that combined those two vocations of being a historian and also being a minister. And I always felt that there was a way of doing it that could be historically accurate, but could also talk about it in a faith perspective. The people that I chose, I wanted to choose a diversity of people. I wanted to choose from a time period that had people from the colonial period up until the present. And so we talk about a lot of people in the present as well. And we talk about people from the 18th century, from Phyllis Wheatley on up. But to also find really good stories, historical stories, stories that challenge me as a historian and how to put it together. But also stories that challenge me as a person of faith and how people can wrestle with their faith, but ultimately come to a good place in it, in their faith.
So there are some names that in this, Harriet Tubman, Booker T. Washington, I'm kind of familiar with. Phyllis Wheatley, is that Wheatley Heights kind of what we're talking about? And even Duke Ellington. I mean, obviously I'm familiar with, well, not obviously, but I am familiar with Duke Ellington, but I don't think of him necessarily, I think of him as a big band jazz artist. I don't necessarily think of him as a man of faith.
Yes, for Duke Ellington, one of the things that we don't often think about is that towards the end of his life, he did what we call 3 sacred concerts, and it was an expression of his faith. And so it was an important aspect of his life, and towards the end of his life, he explored that in his own works. For Phyllis Wheatley, we think of her as a great poet, but if you read her poetry, you really see the strength in her faith and how that faith kind of helped her through a difficult childhood. I mean, this is a woman who was separated from her family as a child. And we see her working with her faith, developing her faith in her poetry as a way of dealing with those difficulties and a way of her finding acceptance for herself and also acceptance and forgiveness for the situation that got her there and finding contentment in her own life.
You know, despite talk about the traffic and the shopping, this is a faithful season for a lot of different people across a lot of different religions. So do you think that has any more significance, this book coming out during this season, this time of year?
I love the fact that the book is coming out in this season. I wasn't expecting it to be. I was thinking it was going to come out in January, and so it was pushed out a little bit earlier. I like that idea because this season is something special to me, and I think for people of faith. And I mean, for me, the season really exemplifies how, for me, and this is my own faith, the idea of humility. So for me, this season is celebrating how God becomes man and humbles himself and experiences what life is like us. And so that's a message, I think, to all of us that perhaps we can find ways to humbling ourselves, think about putting ourselves in the situations of others and living in other people's shoes. In other words, being our brother's keeper. And so for me, that's kind of what this season is about. And I hope that that's what this book, Unshakable Faith, is about, to bring people together, to talk about ways that we can come together, talk about an ecumenical faith, talk about the things that we share together, and to enjoy the beauty of this season together as one people.
It's really a story about faith. I mean, they're African-American stories, but it's a story more about faith that really everybody
connects
a lot of us.
Yeah.
It's just a perspective, but we're all included in that as well.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, where can people find this book?
You can pick it up on Amazon. It can also be found on our Daily Bread Publishers website. You can go to, I think it's on the Walmart website, Target website. You can also go to your local bookstores and they can order it for you. Ordering it online right now is the easiest way to get it. And I hope you do. And I hope you also enjoy the season.
Unshakable Faith by Carrie Lattimore. Thanks as always for being here with us.
Thank you so much and have a happy holidays.
I'm going to say I knew you win, once this goes to the bestseller list. Dr. Carrie Lattimore, have a great season. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. I want to give you sort of an update. Not much has changed on Loop 410 there at Ingram. Wall of traffic out there this evening. There were some crashes on Loop 410 earlier, and that's sort of accounting for some of that, but some of it might also be people heading out. It is getting a little better. Now we're down to 36 minutes. But when you look at the other side, where it's only supposed to be 7 minutes going between 151 and I-10, that's probably some small comfort. We still have some construction in the area tonight, including on 1604, and we tell you about that often. Also still watching some delays again coming out of Comal County on I-35, so more than an hour. So if you're waiting for someone coming from New Braunfels to San Antonio, they're also stuck in a little bit of traffic. And here's another view of Loop 410 too. This is Loop 410 at Callahan. You can see some activity there. So very busy evening on parts of the area. In other places, it is a little bit better. But for people on Loop 410 and I-35, wait a little longer for them, or if you need to head out, just wait maybe another half hour or so, and hopefully some of this gets cleared up.
You're making me very happy that I'm not out and about right now.
No kidding. All right, Sarah Spivey's been singing it, so we'll say it. Not a white Christmas, but definitely a warm Christmas.
Yeah, I have been singing. I'm dreaming of a warm Christmas. Yes, we are all going to be well above average for Christmas Day. I want to talk about a couple of things in the forecast. So coming up, here's what we're going to talk about. We'll talk about the fact that there is going to be fog tomorrow morning. If you have early travel plans tomorrow morning around San Antonio, know that you may have visibility less than a mile in many places. But slowly but surely, those afternoons will get toastier so that by Christmas Day, Saturday, we'll have potentially our second or warmest Christmas ever with highs in the low 80s. So that forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right. When you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, or just a lot of sunshine.
There's going to be a lot of sunshine, yeah.
You loved the lyrics so much the first time, I thought I'd stick with it.
No, I like that you're just going on with the theme.
Yeah.
Just
we are
right
at least,
through.
we're at least going to have sun. So there you go. It's just going to be warm.
We're trying to put a bow on this forecast for Christmas.
Yes. Hey, it's not going to be too humid outside either. So there you go. But yeah, it is going to be very warm. A lot of people don't love the warm weather around Christmas time, but hey, that's where we're at right now. And let's take a look outside. We got up to about 73 degrees this afternoon. That was 9 degrees above the average. The last few days have been cooler than seasonably average, but we've turned the corner and we're going to be warmer from here on out too. Our morning low, 42, kind of chilly. It was a really nice day out there. Started off nice and cool and ended up comfortable with relatively low humidity, but that humidity is going to be on the rise, and so are the temperatures. Here's a look at the next few days. Tomorrow 75, but by Christmas Eve we'll be at 80 degrees. 83 Christmas Day. Can't really tell if Santa's waving hello or goodbye. I want to get out of this warm weather and go back to the North Pole. And then temperatures are going to be warm well into next week too. So if you do want to enjoy that Christmassy kind of feeling, tonight is going to be a good night to do that. You're going to need a jacket. Now, no, it's not going to snow outside, okay? These are just festive graphics. We're going to get cool, though, and if you want to enjoy some Christmas lights outside with your family with a jacket on, that's going to be a good night to do it. We're going to have calm wind conditions, clear skies, and temperatures falling into the low to mid 50s by midnight. But after midnight, that fog is going to develop. And look at dew points. They're kind of all over the place. It's very dry in Rock Springs. Dew point of 10 degrees, but dew points are slowly on the rise, and by tomorrow dew points will hover near 60 degrees. That is fairly muggy. Now it won't necessarily feel very humid outside, but you're going to see the humidity in the form of fog tomorrow morning. Now, especially along the metro area and even along I-35, that's where the fog is going to be the densest. We could have visibility less than a mile in many places right around the early morning hours. And then by noon, though, that fog will completely dissipate. And in fact, by the afternoon, we're going to have total sunshine. So it's going to be a bit of a half and half day, fairly gray in the morning and completely sunny in the afternoon. Starting tomorrow morning with some clouds and some fog, 55 degrees for the morning low, clearing right at around noon, 68 around lunch. And then we'll be looking at a high temperature of 75 degrees and sunny on Thursday. South winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. So why are we going to get warm? Well, right over Baja California, there's a ridge of high pressure. High means dry, and in the summertime, high pressure usually means warm. But this winter, we're going to be seeing this high move over south central Texas, and that's going to increase our temperatures for the southern Christmas sizzle we're going to be experiencing. One thing I want to note is that Christmas Eve, Friday, there is going to be a bit of a winter storm across the Rockies and the Pacific Northwest. And so if you have air travel in your future, just know that by Friday, things could be starting to see some delay because of what's happening in the western United States. But here in south central Texas, it's going to be dry, it's going to be sunny, and it's going to be warm. A toasty Christmas forecast for us Friday morning and Saturday morning. So Christmas Eve and Christmas morning, we will have some fog. So that song, Then One Foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, that is going to be true, but we are not going to be in a winter wonderland. It's going to be 83 degrees Saturday on Christmas Day. Hey, Christmas brunch sounds good, and you could have that outside because it's going to be nice and sunny.
We need to call on Rudolph for Fridays.
Thanks for sticking with my theme there, Sarah.
I got you.
In case you missed it, coming up next.
Here's today's In Case You Missed It.
It is Wednesday, December 22nd.
Still no sign of Lena Keel. San Antonio police working with the FBI to scour the area in and around the apartment complex where the 3-year-old girl was last seen.
Police and the FBI are currently looking at dozens of pieces of video footage in hopes of finding any clues as to where she might be. Right now, they have no information that could lead them to say that Lena was kidnapped, but that may change. Right now, it is only a missing persons case, and that is why finding any witness or evidence is key right now.
2 people are in the hospital after 2 men broke into a West Side home and opened fire.
That's where police say the men kicked down a door on one of the units, started shooting at a man inside.
One of those bullets went through the wall, hitting a woman inside another apartment.
Both victims taken to the hospital. Luckily, both expected to recover.
There is some good news when it comes to the fight against the coronavirus. Today, U.S. health officials authorized the first COVID-19 pill. It's made by Pfizer. Americans are going to be able to take it at home to fight off the worst effects of the virus.
A man near Phoenix got a bit more creative with a decorated porta potty. Check this out. Kirk Erickson came up with a kooky idea last Christmas. His neighbor was getting a pool built, and he decided to, well, he had the porta potty on the street as the pool was getting built. He wanted to save what was then what he called a stinky Christmas because of the pandemic, and called on his neighbors to help. So they decorated the porta potty from top to bottom, and this year he decided to bring it back. You can see it right there, and put it in front of his home, and it's been a major hit in the neighborhood.
Things getting a little better there on the west side, down to 22 minutes westbound on Loop 410 between I-10 and State Highway 151, only 7 minutes the other direction, but it still looks like a wall of traffic there that you probably don't want to be sitting in this evening, but at least, Sarah, you don't have to worry about the weather.
Well, yeah, at least tonight you definitely don't need to worry about the weather. It's nice out there right now as temperatures are falling into the 60s. But early tomorrow morning, there will be fog and clouds. So if you have travel plans tomorrow morning, just exercise a little caution. We'll be warming up steadily. Afternoon temperatures getting into the low 80s by Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day will be close to the record on Sunday, too. Warm into the last few days of 2021.
I wonder if Santa has air conditioning.
He needs it. An elf needs to get on that.
AC for SC.
I'm sure that.